Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video I want to talk about sponsored content in the video game industry, specifically on YouTube and Twitch. Now, I'm not reading from a script. I'm going to be rambling, ranting, probably tripping over my words a bit, so forgive me now, but I just figure that reading from a script for a video like this is kind of against the point of what I'm trying to accomplish with this video. So just bear with me here. It's me. Like, you knew it was coming anyway. So why am I making a video about sponsored videos? Well, for one, there was a game that was recently made, or a game that reached out to a lot of people on YouTube and asked them to make a sponsored video for it. Now, the video in question came from a lot of Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy XIV YouTubers in general. Larry also, he wouldn't name the game either, but Larry also had a video where he spoke about how he took the deal and then decided he didn't like the game, and he wanted to stand up for the moral integrity of his live stream, which was a very brave thing for him to do, especially after agreeing to do content on said game. So with all the buzz and the people asking me in Twitch and people asking me if I saw the game and stuff, I've had it on Mondays with Mr. Happy and things like that, I figured, you know what, let me make a video where I am frank with you guys, I talk about sponsored content, which is something I honestly should have done years ago when I started doing sponsored content, because there are a lot of ups and downs to sort of deciding what to play and if it's okay and how your community will react, that I've never taken the time to explain to you guys what my thought process is when I take a sponsored deal or something along those lines. And I'll also let you know about other sponsored stuff that I have coming up soon, which is another reason I'm doing this, because of the hubbub with the other game. I'm doing sponsored content soon, I don't want that to sort of spill over without me addressing it directly. So, by the way, I totally am going to need to do cuts as much as I'm rambling and ranting. I'm just letting you know now, because I'm going to screw up like at some point, to the point where I just want to edit it out. And I had one of those points already. So anyway, the main points that I want to hit here. Why do I do sponsored content? What does it mean for the channel? And what qualifies in my mind as something that's okay to do sponsored content on? So let's tackle my first point, and that's communication with the channel. So one of the worst things about YouTube is it's not really great for communicating between someone who creates videos and someone who watches or comments on videos. The only way to really communicate is for me to go to the YouTube comment section and for me to respond to everyone individually, which time-wise, there's no way I could achieve that. Another way is to make a video like this, but this is more like me talking at you, which is unfortunately the best communication we'll get. Yes, also social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter, or I guess people coming to the Twitch live stream are all options, but it's not a great way of communicating. So I want to take this opportunity to communicate the first thing that I feel is important when doing sponsored content on YouTube and Twitch. And that first thing is very simple, and that's honesty. One of the biggest problems that people have with YouTube sponsored content and Twitch sponsored content, at least in my experience, is when they subscribe to you for a game, and they subscribe to you for a genre, they subscribe to you for you. And then you do something that's sponsored. They don't know if they're getting any of that. It could be not a game they subscribed or followed you for. It could be not even the genre that they subbed to you or followed you for, and they don't even know if they're getting the real you, because there's money involved. So they don't know if anything you're saying is honest right now, because they're going to assume the money in your pocket paid for the words that are coming out of your mouth. And in a lot of ways, they're not entirely wrong. But there are ways to approach sponsored content in such a way that develop a sense of honesty. It is always in the individual to maintain that integrity. And there are also people who just don't give a shit and they see the money, they don't care what you say. Obviously, that's set up to prevent you from people fucking with you later, because that's just what's going through their head, and it's reasonable. I can't hate someone for thinking that way. It's unfortunate, but there's no way I could stop someone from thinking that way, and honestly, I would have thought that way 4 or 5 years ago, so it is what it is. So honesty. I'll get to this point eventually, I promise. I'm going to be honest with you about the content I have coming up. That's the first thing. I have sponsored streams for Albion Online coming up. Not YouTube videos, just streams. I'm going to be doing 14 hours total across a week, and it's the week of Savage launching at that. So you know that if it wasn't for the fact that it's sponsored, I probably wouldn't be playing Albion Online the week that it launched, the same week as Savage. So much so that I'm going to be adding on hours to my live stream instead of taking away the Final Fantasy 14 hours, because there's no way I could just take away Final Fantasy 14 hours, at least for the first few days of Savage and 4.05 launch. I can't do it, you know what I mean? So That's one of them. I also have Brave Exvius, which is a mobile game. Now, I've played Brave Exvius, and I like that. You guys should know at this point that I've done videos on tons of Final Fantasy mobile games, at least the more standard ones like Record Keeper, Mobius, which is now on Steam, Brave Exvius, and then Grandmasters and whatnot. So I've done plenty of those. So obviously I don't need to talk about honesty when it comes to that one, because the only reason I don't play it is because Record Keeper takes up a fair portion of my time when I am playing mobile games. So why am I taking those deals? You know, how did I decide that those were deals that I was gonna take, and how do I make sure that I convey honesty to my viewers, to people who watch on YouTube and Twitch? So the first thing is, why did I take those deals? To be honest, it's just because they kind of fall in the genre of game that I already play. I play MMOs. I've played a ton. I've done Blade and Soul. I did Twin Saga. I did Revelation. I played Final Fantasy XIV. I played Final Fantasy XI. I played World of Warcraft. I've played dozens of MMORPGs, free to play and other, that, you know, it's in my wheelhouse. I've done this before, so it seems like it's right up my alley. On top of that, I know some people on Twitch who have streamed it, and they said they were waiting for the full launch because they actually quite enjoyed it. So I'm kind of just taking their opinion, going, oh, well, they liked it, so sure, I'll do a sponsored video on that. It only makes sense if somebody else tells me they like it, someone I trust already, for me to at least try it out. And that's point number 2 that I'm going to make. I don't ever take a sponsored deal for a game I've played already unless it's something I'm like so completely sure that I love. So if I played a game already and I don't like it, there's no chance I take a sponsored deal on it. But like if I were to get sponsored to do like a 14 stream or a 14 video, hell yeah, I would. Odds of me getting that because I already play it is, you know, 0. But you know what I mean? Like clearly I already love the game. Of course I'll do a sponsored video on it. I already play it. That's just like a no-brainer. But then you have games like Albion that I've never played before. And that's the way I like to go into sponsored content, having never played the game before. Because I don't know if I'll like it. I can't convince myself otherwise to like not do it. I only see it's within my wheelhouse and other people have told me they liked it, or that they asked me if I was going to play it. So what the hell, this is my opportunity. That being said, that's a risky endeavor. Because if I don't like it and I've signed up for X amount of hours to play it, or a 30-minute video, well, things start to get a little awkward. Because if I don't like it, I've got to, you know, get through the sponsored stuff. I'm contractually obliged to go through the sponsored content. So how do I get through that? And that's where the next thing comes into play. And that's not being dishonest. And I know that seems like redundant from what I said, but the most important thing is there's one thing I will absolutely not sign in a contract. And that is I refuse the mandatory obligation to maintain positive opinion of the game during sponsored hours. The main reason I turn that down is because I want to be able to criticize a game I am playing that is sponsored. The games that I love, I criticize to hell. Why would I not criticize a game that I've never played before and I'm getting first impressions on because they want me to maintain positive opinion? I can't do it. That's why even in things like my Revelation video, which I didn't end up liking that game, I think it was like a 3 to 4 hour paid live stream I had to do for that game, I had ways of getting through it once I figured out this is not going to go well. And a lot of it comes down to presentation. I won't necessarily maintain positive opinion, but I will maintain a positive composure, which is very, very different. Here's the difference between positive opinion and positive composure. Positive opinion is, wow, man, I love this aspect of it. I love that aspect of it. Man, this is great. You guys should absolutely play it. You guys will love it. That sounds like bullshit and a half, and you all know it. Maintaining positive composure is the difference between baby raging over not liking something and not liking something and presenting it in a reasonable way. Here's the baby raging way of not liking something. Oh, what the fuck were they thinking? This shit, oh God, this is so bad. What the fuck were they thinking? Oh, and I still got 3 hours left of this bullshit? Fuck. That's baby rage. You might see that as honesty, but I can give you an honest opinion without saying it that way. Here's what maintaining positive composure looks like. It's like, you know, I'm not really digging this all that much. I mean, honestly, it's not horrible. Like, there are definitely people out there who would like this more than me. I don't know if you guys would, but my personal opinion is that, like, this should be different, this should be different, this should be different. If those things were different, it would be a lot better. Like, I mean a lot better. But you know what? We'll see. Maybe it'll get better later. For right now, you know, it's okay. I've had worse, you know. That's a major difference from what I had before. That's me openly saying I don't like it and what changes I would make to it, while saying maybe it's just me. You know, those are some of the key differences I feel that you can make when it comes to doing a sponsored video or sponsored Twitch stream versus just shilling out, pretty much. You could still do a paid sponsored thing and seem like a reasonable person along the way. You just don't have to be sitting there talking mad shit about every game if you don't like it when you do it on a sponsored video or sponsored stream. So that is a big thing to me. Do not ever want to sign a contract that asks me to maintain positive opinion. And finally, that comes to the kind of the most major point of sponsored in the first place. Why people take the deal. Money. Like, why not just not take it? If you have to go through all of this, you know, you have to think about what you're going to say. Well, is it even worth taking? Why not just not take it? And you know what? That's something I would have thought years ago when I wasn't doing this for a living, when I wasn't doing YouTube or Twitch. But now that I do YouTube or Twitch, when somebody does a sponsored video, even if they don't necessarily seem thrilled about what they're doing, I can't knock them for it, man. Honestly, trying to earn a living or earn money on YouTube and Twitch, it gets harder by the year. In some ways, I actually think it gets easier. But for most people, in terms of breaking into the industry, it gets a lot tougher year by year. And people have to look for more consistent ways to earn an income on those platforms. And sponsored deals pretty much treating us like advertisers, or what's the word I'm looking for? The word, I'll find the word by the end of it. Influencer. That's the word I was thinking of. That's what they call us in the industry, influencer. Because people listen to us and that influences their buying decisions, I believe is the reason. Makes the most sense to me. It's that having more consistent income through things like sponsored videos or sponsors in general is something that we all want. As much as we love working hard to earn what we earn based on, you know, how many people view a video, how long do they view a video for. Maybe they tip the broadcast. Maybe they subscribe to you on Twitch. You know, maybe they purchase something through an affiliate link. You know, there's all these different avenues, but none of them are consistent. One month you could, if you had an affiliate link, you could sell 100 headsets. Next month you could sell 1. And maybe you put in the same effort both times. And it just didn't matter because it's just not consistent. What sponsored videos do is, here is a flat dollar amount. You will get this for this work. And it doesn't seem like a lot of work either. You know, someone asks you to make 10-minute video, 20-minute video, 30-minute video, 3-hour stream, 5-hour stream, 10 hours. It's like, I do this all the time. I could just fill this in and I'll get a consistent paycheck. Like, that sounds amazing. So when people are offered money to do a video for something that seems like it'll be in their wheelhouse, and then they find out midway that's really not their thing, I can't knock them for it, man. It's tough. You are handed such an odd opportunity that you may have never been offered in your life before. And something that could, as Larry put it in his video, something that could change, you know, change a lot of things for you. Maybe it's come just in time for you to make that car payment, or maybe it's come just in time for you to get that rent, or maybe you were about to go into debt from something else, like maybe you couldn't pay your student loans that month. Who knows? There's a million and one reasons that money from a sponsored video, you could just see it and be like, I got to do this. Like, I have to do it, you know? And then even if I don't like it, it's whatever. I agreed to do it. Now I have to do it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I can't knock them. I don't think that it necessarily comes down to moral high ground all the time. Moral high ground is an important thing to have. It builds trust with your viewer base. But that doesn't necessarily mean you can't do a video on something that you don't necessarily enjoy. It comes down to a personal decision at that point. And no decision, I think, is wrong. You know, some people just got to do what they got to do, man. And sometimes it's not an easy decision. Until you're the one in those shoes, you don't understand how hard of a decision it can be. Every day, I turn down sponsored stuff, whether it's a mobile game or it's like a gill seller reaching out. Obviously, I'm going to turn those ones down. But sometimes they offer like crazy money. And you look at it and you go, dude, I could do so much with that money. And then you have to sit there and look at the dollar, look at your wallet, and then look at your subscribers and decide which one of them, you know, I guess which path you're going to take. I was going to say which one of them matters most, but that sounds dumb, because just because you take money doesn't mean the money matters more than the subscribers. So that's not the right wording for it. You just got to decide, you know, is it worth it ultimately? And sometimes it's going to be worth it. So I'll ask that if one of your favorite YouTubers made a video about a game that you don't necessarily like, or you think they were shilling out for, or they sold out, or it looks bad on their channel, or something like that, and you gave them a really hard time, consider it from all perspectives, because you know what? Maybe they weren't happy with it either. Maybe they felt the same way that Larry felt when he described his sponsorship video, but maybe they decided they had already committed to it, or maybe they had decided that it was something that was an absolute necessity for them. You don't know. You don't know the whole story. And you know what? Maybe it's on them to give you the whole story. You know, maybe to tell you their entire experience with it from beginning to end. You know, there's a lot of ways that things can be handled when it comes to this situation. But I'd ask that if you gave them a hard time, please reconsider, because they do work hard and they do care about you. And a lot of people who do sponsored stuff, they do care about the viewers, even if they are taking the dollar. And they're afraid, and most of them, they're afraid. They're afraid of backlash. They're afraid of, you know, taking consistent income versus inconsistent income. They're afraid of if they're going to be able to pay their bills that month. A lot of people just have all these different problems or all these different motivations, and all. It's different with every person. So please don't just consider it from your perspective. Consider it from all perspectives. Understand that it is money, and it is paying for my time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's paying for your time. You know, you can easily do things such as not watching the video, not tuning in. You know, you don't have to rail them. You don't have to make them feel like shitty human beings. You don't have to berate them in any sense. You could simply just let them know, hey, you know what, even if you just want to say, hey, you know what, I wasn't really into this whole sponsored thing, but I get it, you know? And I can't tell you how to respond. I'm just saying it really sucked for me to watch people just try to tear down these YouTubers who did this video very recently in the Final Fantasy XIV community. I don't know. I'm going to be on this point all day if I don't stop now. So I think you guys have got my point. Honesty, don't want to maintain positive opinion. And then I have my own ways, such as, you know, picking games I haven't played before, so I don't know if I'll like them or not like them. And that ultimately, I'm going to be doing sponsored stuff. I still plan on doing sponsored stuff. That's not changing. Whenever it's applicable, though, it has to fall within all those standards that I've kind of said already. And if you're someone who doesn't like the sponsored content, I totally understand. I totally get that it's something you wouldn't enjoy. Just please understand that I can handle some negativity, but not everyone can. And there's no reason to necessarily destroy them because you don't agree with it. But anyway, I wanted to do this video to talk about that sponsor stuff because it's really been bugging me lately. On that note, though, big shout out to everyone who did manage to get through that, because I couldn't do that video on the content that is in question. And of course, big shout out to Larry. I know it sounded like I was almost trying to counter his points, but I actually do really appreciate that he did stand up for the moral integrity of his channel in such a way that he did. It didn't seem like he was convinced to not do sponsored content. He was just convinced it has to be something he's 100% he'll enjoy, and something that he's 100% you'll enjoy on the channel. Thank you for watching this video. I've got to get to work on some other stuff, but I really wanted to get this out of the way. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.